as well as text and pay services. We have Bern Monah back online. Mr. Monah, I was asking about what we can learn from this particular event.
I think that for you and me, and for all young people of our society, this day should mark a day of deeper sorrow, and indeed a day of deep reflection for us. Some 44 years down memory lane, there was an agenda to ensure that the African industrialization project was embarked on, and that Ghana, out of the many countries that were under subjugation, should become an example, shining example for the rest of the world to emulate as a success story. And so there was enormous concentration on education, affirmative action that was to ensure that deprived sections of our society, including women, were given the appropriate place, that the northern part of this nation that constituted raw material, labor for the colonial industrial project and denied basic infrastructure, including education, would be given their recognition. So the frontiers and borders of education were expanded beyond that of the colonial limitation of the coastal zones, the Ashanti region, where you had the timber and others, and the political capital, which was in Nkrumah. Frontiers of education were expanded almost after 100 years that it was instituted in the southern part to the northern part of the country. For you and me, the young people of our society, an industrial project that was targeted that at least by 1970s, Ghana was going to become a net importer of labor. That agenda was truncated by the forces of evil on the 21st of February 1966. And that today, if we have many young people in our society that are roaming, carrying their TVs, walking the streets of Accra, Kumasi, and every part of our country, looking and in search of jobs that are non-existent, this day should reflect a day that all of us will begin to think that did we go as a nation or did we come? And for me, the answer is simple. In as long as we still have many unemployed in our society, in as long as the industries, the cottage industries that were being expanded, have all been sold, over 350 state-owned enterprises sold. The shoe factory, the Jew factory, and all others have been sold and sold. Go to all the industrial areas in our nation. And what do you find? You find that our industries have been sold and collapsed, and that the warehouses in these industrial areas have become worship houses. They have become grounds for people to pay. You ask yourself, do religious houses lead to productivity in a country? If it doesn't, then it means that the clock of progress was turned the opposite way by the actions of the 24th of February 1966.
Mr. Monah, some have argued that the only way to have quote-unquote gotten rid of Dr. Nkrumah in terms of the presidency was through the coup d'etat.
Come again?
Some have argued that Dr. Nkrumah was becoming a dictator and that the only way to have get him out of post was through the coup d'etat. How justified was the coup d'etat?
You see, at all points in history, there must be a justification for the evil actions of people. And I'm sure that this is no exception. The actions of those who caused this national disaster must be justified. Ask yourself, as early as 1958, there were coup attempts of Nkrumah. 1 year after attaining political independence, could there be any reason for anyone becoming a dictator? Could there be any reason for anyone not allowing multi-party democracy to flourish just 1 year after? Could there be any reason for one to say that the people of Ghana were being ripped off? Certainly it is not. So even from the outset of Nkrumah's attaining independence, there were machinations to overthrow him. That they succeeded in 1963 can only tell you when they started. As far back 1958, they started. So you see, only justification for their evil actions to always see Nkrumah becoming a dictator. But they're not the same. But at any given opportunity, they want to justify that. Look at the
Mr. Monah, if you could reposition yourself.
And look at the end of development. What do you see in these countries? It was a long period of sustained governance under one person. That is not to say we justifying that Nkrumah made any attempt. In any case, today, the Parliament of Ghana is responsible for all the laws that are passed in Ghana. And we all saw in 2007, when our parliament, 2006, when our parliament muddled through the Representation of the People's Amendment Act, an act that you and I do know, that has the potential of causing chaos in our national body politics. And yet they roll me through. So when Parliament take a decision in one place, they say that we must respect the institution. And yet when Parliament passed a law at the time, given the exigencies of the day, and passed a law ensuring that there was an existence of a political tradition, people are complaining about it. My answer to all these critics is that could any of the reasons that they have put
Mr. Monah,
be a justification?
Hello, Mr. Monah.
A military and brutal overthrow of a democratically elected government.
Okay, Mr. Monah, what have the Nkrumahists like yourself been doing in commemorating this day?
If you have been following the Centenary Planning Committee, of which I am the secretary,
Okay.
in partnership with the Socialist Forum of Ghana, have organized one of the biggest events ever staged in Accra. And this has just been concluded at the National Theatre. The entire hall was full. Outside was full. People came to our own amazement. And they came and listened to the story as it was. And I'm sure that even given the feminist touch that was provided by Dr. Chikata, many are waiting to what development would have achieved had the 1966 coup not come. It is a day of regret. And if you had seen me throughout the day, I was in my black, signifying that I was mourning something that had happened and caused devastation to the lives of many other Ghanaians and for Africans. Indeed, at another forum, at the Voice Center this morning, people say it should not be described as Ghana's day of shame because it is Africa's day of tragedy.
Is Ghana a true reflection now of Dr. Nkrumah's vision?
Certainly. We think that the clock of progress that was turned backward has not been able to come back. The shoe factory that was being put or was in Kumasi has collapsed. So we